Homies, it is raining. I don't know how well you're going to be able to hear me. Might be a nice little bit of ASMR, but very quick video today. I don't want to sit here and tell you that I messed up or did something wrong. It was just more so, I say it all the time. No matter how good you are at any form of lifting, any form of physical exercise, if you train long term, and especially if you train to supersede your original maxes, your original potentials on anything, you will inevitably get an injury. I am not injured at this moment, sure, but let me tell you, I was planning on doing the push jerk thruster. I had a really good experience doing the push jerk the other day, or the push press, sorry. And I've been wanting to do a thruster movement. I thought it'd be a fun experience. I've never done that combo before. And then bench I was fully confident with. I didn't even get to bench, And that's not because I can't bench or that I'm not strong enough. I'm definitely good. It's not a big issue. The big thing is that, unfortunately, I got up to 255. And I was already pretty dead tired. It's just one of those days. I worked 5 12-hour night shifts in the past 7 days. I'm beat up. I'm tired. Especially when you're working and training long term. Something's going to catch up at some point. And 255 went, yeah, but I just, mentally there was no grit. It didn't feel like there was any real effort put into it at all. And I had to really grind through it, but there was no passion push, there was no drive. It was just okay, pushed overhead, done. Because I wanted to come in and crush 275 because I got 265 last time pretty confidently off of a hang clean into a push press separately. So it was really bold of me, sure, but I thought I had a chance. It's been a great week, and this is kind of where I got ahead of myself because 255 felt hard enough to where I immediately thought of stopping. And if you have to tell yourself to force yourself to keep going when you've already thought of the idea of failing, it's typically good to stop. But because I had already really, really wanted 275 and the program's been going so good, of course the moment it's going its best, I try fucking around a little bit more than I need to. Because, look at yesterday. Again, I felt okay, but these fuck around, find out, technical accessory, technique focused days on Olympic lifts are not meant to be that heavy. They're not meant to be crazy, crazy bad. And especially as I get closer to the peak week, I need to start kind of maintaining an easier weight to do on those accessory days so that they accessorize the main movement without burning out my CNS or anything. And it has been going good, and I have earned the weights, absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I didn't put in my best effort and truly earn the weights that I did. Yesterday I did 245 on a snatch accessory, and I'm supposed to go up to 255 on my peak week. That's great. Great progress, and I was really confident in that. I felt like I genuinely had that 100%. But again, you got to really think about it in the long term. Look how close 245 is to the max single I'm supposed to do on normal snatch in the program, I get wanting to mess around with what feels good, but it's just so heavy compared to what I'm going up to. And even if it's easy when I get to the peak week, it's meant to be its own individual day. The peak weights are meant to stay on the peak week. And I've been hitting more and more weights closer to the peak week as I get to it, and it's supposed to be the opposite. I can mess around a lot more on the volume weeks because it's just way easier. There's less fatigue from the power lifts. The Olympic lifts aren't hard other than just doing cardio and conditioning, so it's a time where I can mess around and not feel the kickback. But now I'm getting into that heavyweight, and especially with the little misgroove in my squat yesterday and the constant 12-hour night shifts, I felt my knee really being sore and getting to me, and I decided to push it, and it's okay. It happens. Sometimes you got to push it to figure out where you're truly at. But I pushed 275. The clean was perfect. It wasn't as explosive as I'd want it to be, but it was right where I wanted it to be, for sure. But the push press did not go at all. I got it up right to the, around my forehead, maybe just a little higher, which is, it's good. But I didn't have anywhere near enough drive to push through it at all. I gave up almost immediately and re-racked it. I felt nothing at that point. I was like, whatever. Let's get on the bench. You fail a rep sometimes, take it on the chin, Embrace that little bit of failure and move on. And the moment I walked away from a gym homie talking to him about how the weights went, I sat down and I felt the patellar tendon on my right knee. It's not the left now. On my right knee, not pull, not tear, not kick back really hard, just one solid little, one little tweak out of nowhere. And even though it was just that, and it was definitely there, I had to let my knee kind of just sit with an extended leg for a little while before I had the confidence to stand up without jumping back on it too quickly. Because I'm telling you, the moment you feel that deja vu, that feeling of pain that too well, that's too closely related to actual risk of injury, it's time to stop. Even though I was doing bench press, it does not matter. There's leg drive in bench press. I have to bend my knees at a 90-degree angle on bench press with a flat foot. If the patellar tendon is strained, I have to stop, no matter what. And that kills me. I really wanted to bench today. I really did. But this is what I've been telling you guys, man. This is why I so desperately want to go to day shift, because it's so hard to go at the level you are capable of doing. It's not even that. I could have probably done this today. 255 moved simply. I didn't have to think about it at all. But because I was so burnt out and had no mental energy, there was just no fire behind the drive getting underneath it. And when I got 275, I'd already given up by the time I got out of the clean. Just being real. So I need to adhere to this shit, man. I need to recognize this, because if I'm getting to the point where, last night on my shift, while I was doing rounds, I could feel my knees becoming sore and a little bit swollen from just being on my feet and staying up all night, not recovering the way my body needs to. And it's a problem, And so it's okay to continue going hard and continue the high intensity like I typically do. But on days where I'm doing Olympic accessories, those cannot be maxed out every time, even if I feel good enough to do it. It has to be perfect technique. I have to change the principle again to adhere to this while I have less energy. Like yesterday, I hit 245 after failing it once on the snatch accessory, sure. But the fact that I failed once means that it was too heavy. That's it. That's the mindset I have to have. There can be zero question of whether or not I'm going to get it or not. I have to be capable every single time. And if I fail because I just didn't do it properly and I had a super excess of energy, fine. But if I'm whipping as hard as I can, and especially catching it behind and doing it as perfectly as I can get it, and I have to do another attempt just to get it, it's too heavy for what it's meant to be. It's meant to be technique. It's meant to be core, stability, confidence. And I had to leave the gym today. It's been a while since that's had to happen, And there's no pain right now. I feel okay. But again, the worst thing you can do is overstretch it and overthink it in the moment. I had that little moment of fuck, I gotta go. I cannot stress this while it's in its risk moment. The moment you feel that little tweak, there's going to be a period of time for the rest of that day where you're at risk of injury and you just got to relax. So went home, taking the time off. I have 2 rest days after today. Tomorrow I'll do my cardio and I'll do my active rest day the next day. And hopefully just getting on the bike, going real easy tomorrow will be good enough to stretch my knee out again to where there's no pain. On the active rest day, if everything feels good and consistent, I'll continue the program. But only if it's at max confidence, man. Because I do not play with my knees. I do not play with that. You can't. They're too important. And it quite frankly just means I've been going too heavy. The squats yesterday should not have been as hard as they were. I know a lot of it's just energy from all the shifts I've been doing, but I've been able to do this program with these shifts before. So it just means that my energy needs to be put into other things. I need to go a little bit easier on the technical Olympic days and go a little bit harder on the squat and bench days, because those weights are stagnant. I can go to higher intensity without having to increase the weight, but on the Olympic technique days, when I give myself that availability to go up, that's what kills me every time. So I'll take it on the chin. Can't worry about it tonight. Thankfully, because I stopped and I put the ego away, I'll probably be fine by the morning. That's typically how these go. But I'm not gonna put a label on it. I'm just gonna go and chill out. That's it. I'm not gonna give it a ranking. You know, there's no point. No, I shouldn't say that. Let's be true to the process. Physically, shit. Right before the knee stuff happened, even through all the weights, the knee stuff my knee didn't tweak until right at the end when I had already stopped. And it does. I don't even feel it anymore, so I might be okay now because I stopped. And so when it comes to the cleans, they were fine. And the push presses were honestly good up until I got to 255. So it's really, like, I'm going to put it at, like, a 6.5. It was not great. Not at all. I did the best I could during some of those warm-ups. 255 was not that way. And I think because I didn't give it that best effort, that's why I felt so pressured to go up, you know? And that's where I got to learn and not do that again. So mentally, it's going to be okay. I know it will. I'll be better next time. This is going to be the best step I can take to recover and let it come back, but it pisses me off. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. It's upsetting. So mentally, it's always so disappointing because the program was going so good. And I know that it's going to be okay, and I know that I'm going to be better. But in the moment, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm not pissed off. You know, I can still give it. I'll give it a 6.2. You know, it was fine leading up. Like, even doing the 275, I was pretty hype. It's only the fact that it happened right at the end. That's it. That's literally it. So, I mean, it was pretty good leading up to that, honestly. I don't want to psych myself out too much and say that it was a horrible day. It was still pretty decent, and I put in a good effort, but it's not where it needed to be by any means. So I'm going to really recover it, let it chill out, get it that good mobility, try to let it come back. I'm hoping that I only have to take 2 rest days. If it needs more, guys, like, I can't force it. You know, I'm going to take the rest that it needs. And if that fucks up the program, tough tits, you know. I can build back up another time. I got to be patient. The long term is the role. That's what we're trying to do right now. So I got to allow the short term to be based on recovery and fatigue management and making sure I'm not injured. So I'll be back. I will be okay. Little rant, but it is what it is, you know. Thanks for listening, you know, as always. And I'll see you in a couple days. Hopefully not too long, but again, appreciate your patience. Love you guys. See you later. Bye.